Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Tonight we are going to talk about rethinking your drink. We're going to teach you guys how to pay attention to the sugar that's in the drinks that we are consuming. And we'll give you guys some substitutions. We'll talk at the end about alcohol and how to still participate and be able to lower your sugar intake when you're drinking. All right, so at CrossFit Preferred, you guys have heard us say this many times, but we believe in a habit-based approach to nutrition which supports a lifestyle change and not a quick fix. We're always teaching that because a lot of us are thinking of that quick fix. In fact, I've been through it. I know Megan's been through it. We're wanting quick results, and so we crash diet. And that's a very common thing when people come and sit down with us for nutrition. And so we want to help people see that that might work short term, but long term, it's definitely not the answer. And so we teach a habit-based approach for that. So we're going to talk a little bit and educate you guys a little bit about sugar in our drinks. So the CDC actually talks about how obesity over the years has increased by 42.4% over adults and 19.3% in children and adolescents over the years. And you might be wondering, why are we talking about obesity when we're talking about sugar in our drinks? Well, that is why. There have been studies that have been published that show that a reduction of sugar consumption actually slows down the annual rate of increase of obesity. And so it's directly correlated with the sugar that we're consuming. And a lot of times the sugar we're consuming is not, well, it can be in our food, but it's oftentimes in what we're drinking, and that's sometimes overlooked. And I see a couple people jumping on. We've got Dusty, and then I think that's Claudia. I'm not sure. Anyways, so we're just going over some statistics about the sugar intake and how that is affecting our obesity rate. So consider what you're drinking. I'm going to tell you guys a little story. When I was going to school at ASU, one of my nutrition classes required us to do some kind of presentation. And so I chose to do it on Rethinking Your Drink, actually. That was my title, actually.
That's awesome.
And I made a poster that looked a lot like this. And so what we did is we went to the Boys and Girls Club and we taught these little children about the sugar that's in the drinks. And so what I did is I had all these drinks lined up. I had water, a sports drink, I think it was Gatorade, something like Snapple, 100% juice, like orange juice, soda, and I think I had an energy drink, and milk, I think I had on there. And I asked the kids to tell me what one they thought was the most healthy. And guess what they chose?
Juice.
What would you think?
Or milk.
Juice.
Both of those.
And
juice
Gatorade.
And oh.
Juice and Gatorade. Because if you think about it, like these kids are playing sports and their parents are giving them Gatorade to replenish their electrolytes. When in reality, you can see in this graph that Gatorade, a 20-ounce bottle, has 8.5 teaspoons of sugar in it, which is over the daily allowance or recommendation for women. So these little kids are having twice the amount of sugar that they should have just in that one bottle of Gatorade. So the obvious is soda. You know, you're going to know that there's going to be sugar in soda. But the ones like juice, you know, you don't think about that. And so this last weekend we had a little get together and I bought those little 100% juice Honest kids drinks. And it had, oh shoot, I wish I would have grabbed one. I think it had 9 grams of sugar in it, but it's tiny. It's like really small. And so, I mean, that was a better option, but it's still 9 grams of sugar. And natural sugar and added sugar. I mean, it's still sugar. It's not saying we want to limit our added sugar. It's just saying sugar in general. So we got to pay attention to that. But it was really eye-opening for these kids once I showed them. Chris is going to bring me a drink. Thank you. 8 grams of total sugar. In this tiny little, how many ounces? 6 fluid ounces, 8 grams. So it was pretty eye-opening for these kids to realize how much they were drinking, how much sugar they were drinking once they saw, okay, here's my Gatorade and here's how much sugar is in that Gatorade.
Yep. All right, so think about the drinks you have during the day. You get up in the morning and you have a cup of coffee. What do you put in your coffee? You add creamer, any type of syrups. Do you go to Starbucks? Do you get your coffee from there? Is it a latte? Is it a frappuccino? Think about all the different kinds of sugar that is in the ingredients that go into that. And then, it's snack time and you're getting kind of hungry. So with your snack, maybe you have some juice, or, mid-afternoon, you have a soda or an energy drink. And then for dinner, you have a cocktail or a glass of wine. It's only a couple, but that's a bunch of sugar all put in together that you don't see as a total. And it adds up throughout the day.
So even if you are someone who's trying to really eat super clean and not eat sweets, you do need to think about, like, if you're already going to put in the effort to not eat sweets and eat really clean, you also want to make sure that you're not undoing the progress by getting that sugar in the things that you're drinking.
Exactly.
I mean, the calories alone, but then also think about what it's doing to your blood sugar.
Yep. So look at this. This is 6 1/4 cubes or teaspoons of sugar. No one would eat that at once at all. That is about the sugar amount that's in this glass of lemonade. That's something you would drink or you would give to your kids.
Yep.
And then check out this next one. This is 10 1/4 teaspoons of sugar. This is in a can of soda, which how many people do you know that drink numerous cans of soda every single day?
Yeah.
It's a lot. It adds up and you don't even really think about it.
It's funny because, like I said, we had to get together this weekend. And so I bought things that I wouldn't normally have in my house. And soda is one of those things. And we have leftovers and my kids are asking and asking and asking.
Yeah.
I think they're going through withdrawals. I mean, the amount of times they've asked me today for a soda or something sweet.
It's like a fix.
It's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, well, no, we do.
Yeah.
And I have all this soda in my pantry. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, you know?
Yep. So the American Heart Association, they recommend that for women, the recommended amount of sugar is 24 grams of added sugar, which is 6 teaspoons. For men, it's 36 grams of added sugar, which is 9 teaspoons. If you think about it, that can of soda, that's more than both of what men and women are recommended to drink. If you look at this juice, fruit punch, that's 11.5 teaspoons. Root beer, the same, 11.5 teaspoons. A Frappuccino from Starbucks, that's 20 teaspoons. That's triple what we're recommended to have on a daily basis.
And we oftentimes don't think twice about those things. But yet, if there were 20 cubes of sugar sitting on the counter, we would never just pop those in our mouth.
Yeah.
So the US population is consuming more than 300 times the recommended daily amount that we are given. And based on these few sugar sweetened beverages, it's easy to see why. It's easy to see why the consumption of sugar is up, why obesity is up. And now that we have been able to identify the problem, I want to discuss some of the ways that we can help reduce the sugar in the beverages that we're having and choose healthier options. I mean, obviously there's going to be times to indulge in some of those things where we definitely don't believe in an all or nothing mentality.
Right.
We definitely think that there are going to be times where you're going to enjoy something, and that's fine. You don't need to have guilt associated with the things that you're indulging in every once in a while.
Yeah.
But we do want to make sure that that you're aware of what you're doing, aware of the choices that you're making, and have some healthier options available so that if you don't want to waste your sugar intake on something like a beverage, then you can save it for something later. So first things first, we need to teach you guys how to read a food label. A lot of you may know this, but we're going to go over it like you haven't done it before. So sugar can be kind of tricky to find in your beverages because it can be under many different names other than sugar. So first thing is we need to understand where to find sugar on the food label. So you can see that there's some numbers on this, and the number one is showing the serving information on the item that you have. So the serving information, a lot of times, like if you're looking at this, for example, this is going to be 1 serving is 1 drink box.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of times if you're getting like a Gatorade or something bigger,
Mm-hmm.
you think that 1 container is 1 serving. And then oftentimes, especially with like a Gatorade, it's like, it says 2.5 servings
Mm-hmm.
per Gatorade. So like you'll look at the food label and it'll say, you know, 10 grams of sugar
Mm-hmm.
or carbs, but that's for
half of it,
less than half.
Yeah,
because it's 2.5 servings for the bottle.
Yep.
That really threw me for a loop when I first figured that was happening.
Kombucha does that. And I was like, oh, I'm drinking like 3 grams of sugar, but no, it's really 2 servings in one thing. I'm like, okay, well, there's, 8.
Yeah. And then if you're pouring from a larger container, like a bottle of juice, I think it's usually 8 ounces is a container or is a serving.
Yes.
If you are measuring 8 ounces, you think, oh, 1 cup in a glass. No. Like usually that holds 12 to 16 ounces. And so being aware of that is super helpful. Mm-hmm. The second number is the calories provided from 1 serving of this food. And just to recap on calories is the energy we get from our food. So calories are good. We want calories. However, you want to think about what those calories are going to do in our body. So if I'm going to drink 100 calories, that's not going to fill me up. It's not going to give me a lot of energy.
Right.
It'll give me quick energy. So like if I was running a race or something like that, I would want that quick energy. In fact, when Chris was doing Ironmans, they served flat Coke on the race course because it got his blood sugar up super fast. So as he's running marathons, they just served flat soda. And in fact, on the Spartan races, they were doing that too. Yeah. They were doing Sprite.
Yeah.
And that for sure, like good use of carbs for sure. But for the most part, I don't want to waste my 100 calories on something that's not going to make me feel full or give me the right kind of energy because I know what it's going to do later for me.
Yep.
So number 3 is saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars are areas where you want to consume less. So you're going to find it in that area. You're also going to see all our vitamins and minerals, and you'll see like we want things that are high on the vitamins and minerals. So this section is also going to tell you total sugar, including sugars found naturally as well as added sugars. The number 4 area is the percent daily value. And these percentages of the daily value for each nutrition is a serving of food. So it's telling you how much 1 serving is giving you for overall for your percent daily value. Yeah. So it helps you identify if the food you're eating is high quality, if you're getting good nutrients from that food.
Yep.
So because it's kind of sneaky, sugar, you're not going to just see look for the word sugar when you're looking at the ingredients. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you see an ingredient list, it is going to list the most abundant item or ingredient first. So if it does have sugar in it, so like this one says fructose syrup or corn syrup, if it's lower in the list or towards the end, that means that there's less of it in there. So if sugar or corn syrup or something like that is one of the first few ingredients, the majority of that is sugar. Yeah. So there's estimated to now be around 60 different names for sugar on food labels. So you have to think about those different words. So sugar, anything ending in ose, like sucralose, fructose, those are all sugars, or if it has the word syrup in it, those are also sugars. Yep. So we happened to take this picture this morning of, some of you may know Coach Mike. I brought in some leftover treats that I had from the weekend. And we happened to find a few cans of beer outside that hadn't been opened. So we brought them in for him and he was just kind of being funny, but we took this picture. So we know how sneaky added sugar can be in things we drink. So what are some other options that are out there that we can, participate with? Water, that's obvious. That's a pretty obvious one. If you aren't drinking between 60 to 80 ounces of water a day, then that would be your first goal. Get in 60, 80 ounces a day. And if there's something that you're really loving, some kind of beverage that you just love and you want to have that, Force yourself to drink your water first.
Yes.
I am that person. I like Diet Coke. I'm just going to put it out there, guys. I'm a Diet Coke drinker, and I make myself drink. So I try and hit 100 ounces of water just personally. I make sure that I am drinking more than half of that before I have a soda, because I know that my chances of drinking water are less once I've had that soda. And so I don't force myself, but I'm just aware of it. I'm mindful of how much water I'm drinking, and I'll guzzle water and I'll refill my Hydro Flask at the gym and try and drink more and more so that I'm at least getting my water in. Especially during the summer months, now that it's getting warmer, we want to make sure that we're increasing our water intake even more, because we're sweating throughout the day, especially if we're outside a lot. Also replenishing our electrolytes. And there's ways to do that without having Gatorade and other things that are full of sugar. We can give you guys some ideas on that too. So another thing is the thing I love about soda is the carbonation.
Yeah.
So the LaCroix are actually really do it for me too. So I will do LaCroix, and I have some sugar-free coconut syrup and vanilla syrup. So I'll do like a LaCroix with some limes and some coconut syrup, and that'll work for me as well.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I count that towards my water.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 1, drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. This is what I tell a lot of my nutrition clients if they're trying to increase their water intake. And the best way to do that is pair it with something you're already doing, a habit that you already have, brushing your teeth. So everybody brushes their teeth morning and night. This is something I've actually used for myself over the last 6 weeks, because I noticed that I wasn't drinking as much water. So I bring like a glass like this up to bed with me, and I usually just drink like a few swallows before I go to sleep. And then when I wake up, I drink about half of it. I brush my teeth, and as I'm getting ready for work, I drink the rest of it. So I never leave for the gym before I've had all of that water. So I recommend doing that first thing in the morning, and then in the evening as well, when you're brushing your teeth. If you can drink between 8 and 16 ounces of water at those 2 times, you just got 40 extra, anywhere from 30 to 40 extra ounces of water in your day. And it wasn't that hard because you paired it with something you were already doing.
Keep your water bottle with you. I have a giant 64-ounce water bottle that I keep with me. I bring it everywhere. I don't leave the house without it, because if I have it on hand, I will drink my water. I also have a 32-ounce bottle of water that I drink first thing in the morning. I bring it to the gym because I'm there so early, but I drink that. I try to drink all of that by like 6:30, and I'll allow myself like a couple sips of coffee and stuff, but that is my thing that I need to drink by 6:30. And I put a lemon and I put salt in it, like real salt or pink Himalayan salt, and get that in first thing. And then the rest of the day I sip off of my 24 or my 64 ounce.
So it always makes me so mad when my kids forget water. And I have one daughter that never brings water when we like jump in the car to go somewhere. So sometimes I'll like grab an extra one, but the reason is because I bring water for me, and I plan on drinking that. And then when they don't bring water, then they want my water. And I'm like, well, wait, hold on. Like I only brought water for me. So I'm like kind of stingy with my water, which is dumb. But.
I'm stingy with mine because everybody drinks my water. Ben grabs my water bottle. I'm like, walk away. This is mine. Get your own. TJ, we're out somewhere. He's like, hey, did you bring water? I'm like, yeah, for myself. So carrying a water bottle, it's super simple. If it's on you, you're going to reach for it and you're going to drink it. But then it'll also help you if you're out running around, running errands, and you have your water bottle on you, it's there and you'll drink it instead of going into, if you're at a grocery store and you're thirsty, it'll keep you from grabbing, the juice or soda or something just to quench your thirst.
So number 3, drink out of a straw. So in fact, you have your straw right now. When I am working out, I don't like to drink out of a straw because I like to gulp my water. But other times of the day, I actually notice that I do drink more water if I have a straw. And I like a little bit thicker straw than that one. But it just makes it feel easier. It makes it like for some reason you think about it more often. if it's like a colorful straw,
Yeah.
you'll see it out of the corner of your eye and think about drinking more water.
Yep.
One thing I learned like maybe 5 years ago, I don't know if you guys will know Chris and Heidi Powell.
Yeah.
But one thing Heidi Powell used to teach is every time you pick up your water, take 10 gulps.
Yeah.
That it's hard.
Try it. Yeah.
So I will try and do like 8 to 10 gulps when I pick up my water. So that's something you can try.
Yep. Another thing is add flavor. I hardly just drink plain water. I always have something in my water. I put lemon and salt in my water first thing in the morning. That helps with my electrolytes. And then in my 64 ounce, I actually throw a scoop of the driven aminos that we sell at the gym. I just use the lemonade. It's really refreshing. It gives it a little bit of a taste. And then you can there's an electrolyte company called Ulta. You can buy them at Sprouts. I forgot to bring it to show everybody, but there's no sugar in them. You get your full electrolytes and they taste really good. You can add different flavors to your water. There are actually water bottles that you can buy that have like a middle filter and you can fit fruit in it.
Cool.
And then you put your water in there and the fruit is inside the filter. Cool. And then the water, it infuses the water and it's really good.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like I'm fine drinking water, but I do like to like have something throughout the day as well. So I do like an herbal tea in my one water bottle a day. I just put like it's a powdered herbal tea that I do. I will do Zip Fizz, which is you buy them at Costco or you can get them online, but they have these, this one is peach mango and they have a grapefruit one and it has a bunch of electrolytes in it. So, and it makes it kind of bubbly. So I like it. So I'll do Zip Fizz. I'm not a huge fruit in my water type person, but every once in a while I will try something like that. The soda water is like probably my biggest. Like if I'm wanting to drink more, I'll drink the soda water.
Same. We go through a lot of soda water at home.
You can also get I know you guys like the Zevias.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those are really good.
What are they sweetened with? Do you know?
They're sweetened with stevia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's a good soda substitute if you're if soda is your thing and you're looking to kind of wean yourself off of it. Their flavors are really good. I mean, the Dr. Pepper one even tastes kind of like Dr. Pepper. The cola is my favorite. And they have a caffeinated cola, and then they have a non-caffeinated. They have a cherry cola. They have a bunch of different flavors. They're really good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So now we're going to dive into alcohol. Standard drink in the US contains 15 grams of alcohol, which is, you'll find that in a 12 ounce regular beer, 5 ounces of wine. I don't know who drinks only 5 ounces of wine. And 1.5 fluid ounces of distilled spirits like vodka, whiskey, tequila.
So did you know that when you consume alcoholic beverages, your body starts to prioritize it to metabolize it rather than the food that you're eating? So usually you're drinking and eating at the same time, but what happens is your metabolism will metabolize the alcohol and then it'll store the food that you're eating in a fat cell for later use. So it increases your fat stores in the body. So rather than choosing whole foods that help you feel better, you end up making poor choices because you're drinking at the same time as eating. So you may be saying, well, drinking's fun and I'm not going to stop doing that. And we're not asking you to, we just want to teach you how to do it in a way that has less sugar.
Yep.
So several studies have found that high alcohol intake is correlated with impairments in strength, power, muscle, as well as cardiovascular endurance. And that actually I'm not a drinker, but that would be like a hard no for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to feel like it would
Yeah.
impact my performance. It also can change your body hormones and immune system. It can increase the rate of dehydration, and you can have issues with post-exercise muscle growth and recovery, as well as glycogen replenishment. So in short, your workouts aren't going to feel as good. You're not going to be able to recover as efficiently. And when bringing alcohol into the mix on a regular basis, you're going to struggle with these things.
So we're not trying to say that you have to cut it out completely, but just think about what it is that you're having and let us help you find other ways to substitute certain things. So if you're going to have a cocktail, then maybe try and mix it with a club soda or a LaCroix. I'll take vodka and I'll mix it with LaCroix, and then those like Crystal Light squeezy things, I'll squeeze one squeeze in it. It gives it a little bit of a flavor. It tastes like a cocktail. Or if you're going to do wine, do something that's more of a dry wine, a dry red or a dry white. Those tend to be a little less sugary than if you were to go for like a rosé or a Riesling or something like that. And then beer. I mean, if you have like a light beer, a Bud Light, or, you know, something that's only 94 calories, that it'll be less calories than if you were to do something a little bit thicker, like an IPA or something that is higher in alcohol than others.
And another thing is, a lot of times, like I relate it to soda because I'm a soda drinker. So I tell my clients, make sure that if you're drinking, you're pairing that with 1 glass of water. So in between every drink, you're having a glass of water. Make sure you're very hydrated before you get to the event that you're at. Just make sure that you're still hitting that water goal, especially because it can be dehydrating.
Yep. So here is a list of some cocktails that you may have had, some of your favorites. I do know for me, my favorite is, I actually like to take tequila and mix it with ice with a little bit of lime and just drink it like that over ice. And that's really good. There's no added sugars in that. Or like I said before, vodka, some vodka with soda water, or a Jack and Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, guys, it's all about your choices. Like you get to be the one that decides what you want to spend your sugar calories on. It's not, you can't have this, you can't have that. It's being mindful and being aware of what you're drinking so that you can make healthy choices. And then if you choose to indulge, you're making that choice knowing what you're indulging in.
If I decide that I'm going to have a cocktail, then maybe I'm not going to have the cookie that's in my pantry that I was possibly going to have for dessert. You know, it's a give and take.
Yeah. So tonight we talked about sugar sweetened beverages and how to identify them, even though it can be tricky reading the food label. We talked about how to increase our water intake, which is obviously something super important, especially as we live in the desert and it's starting to warm up. And how alcohol affects our fitness and how to stay mindful when we are drinking. So in other words, we've discussed rethinking your drink. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We hope that you can take some of the stuff you've learned here and apply it, especially as we're getting into the summer. We're going to be traveling more, having more pool parties, barbecues, that kind of thing. And there's just going to be that mindset of overindulging. Knowing what your plan is before you go into it is super helpful. I know Claudia was talking to me about, she's got a camping trip coming up, and that's something that they enjoy doing while they're camping. And so hopefully you have learned a few things that you can take into it and maybe even rub off a little bit on some of your family members that are there, or friends. And they may be asking you, well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And just set that good example. It looks like there are a couple questions that we are going to go over. So give me 1 second.
One thing also, going back to alcohol, that that has become really popular lately is hard kombucha. And if you read, you got to read the labels just to see. But for the hard kombucha, there's a couple different brands that do a sugar-free or a no sugar kombucha, and the calories are super low, and they taste really, really good as well.
Awesome.
And then you're like being healthy.
All right. So Claudia asked, what is a good natural sweetener for coffee? Do you have any suggestions?
It isn't really a natural sweetener, but Tuesday Morning sells these syrups. They're called skinny syrups, and there's 0 sugars, all that stuff. I add like maybe 10 milliliters to my coffee, and I drink like a 16 ounce. So I drink a good sized coffee, and I add just a little bit to that, and it gives it a little bit of sweetness. And then I use the Bubs MCT powder, and that gives it that creamy look and taste to it too. But you could do stevia. Stevia's a more natural one. I'm blanking. Oh, monk fruit. Monk fruit is another good one too.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yep. I think Sprouts sells monk fruit, and they sell a little monk fruit little packets too. Oh, and Amy, I'll have to get the name from Amy, but Amy said that she's been drinking MCT powder that she got, I think, off of Amazon, but there's a mocha flavor and a vanilla, and she says it sweetens the coffee, and it tastes really good.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can get that off of her too.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Any other questions before we sign off? All right. So thank you guys again for joining us. If you have any other questions, you can definitely reach out to us. You'll see us at the gym. If not, you can message us directly. We'll be reposting this, so you can also comment in below if you have questions, and we'll be checking it and answering it. So thanks again, and hopefully you learned something, and we hope you guys have a good night.
Thank you.